welcome to another episode of
Spread the Word!
So, I read Act Your Age Eve Brown. Now, I have done Get a Life Chloe Brown and Take a Hint Danny Brown before in Spread the Word. I know a lot of you guys are fans. I was very excited when we got this galley because, as you know, I love the Brown sisters. You know, you have Chloe, Danny, and now you have Eve. And Chloe was like the posh, like prim one. Danny was like the academic trailblazer. And Eve is just like super colorful, crazy, bright. Like
she has purple hair.
Yeah. Purple hair, yeah. Orange lip gloss. She is just a personality. She's great. She is a wedding planner. She plans this wedding for a friend and feels bad for the doves in the wedding and releases them. She just like looked at them and felt bad in that moment. And she's very impulsive. Yeah. Okay. She just goes with what she wants to do at that time and doesn't put much thought into it. After that happens, she takes her website down. She's just like, this isn't for me. I'm not doing it anymore. And her family has an intervention with her, and they're like, you need to stick with something. You keep jumping from thing to thing.
Yeah.
So she's like, ugh, fine. And so she like goes on this little road trip to like clear her mind, and she goes by a bed and breakfast that's hiring. And she's like, I'll just go in here and interview for this job. And this bed and breakfast is headed by this man named Jacob and his partner slash best friend, Montrose. And Jacob is very like straight buttoned. Everything is in perfect place, very structured, obviously opposite of Eve. And he's autistic. She comes to interview. Mont opens the door to the office, and Jacob looks at her, and it's just like is having like a mini autistic meltdown a little bit in his head. And she's like purple hair, orange lip gloss, has like a bright pink shirt that says "Sorry, I'm bored" or something like that on it. And he's just like staring at that shirt, and she's like looking at him because she thinks that he's staring at her boobs.
Oh, yeah. But he just like
and he's like clicking a pen as he's like staring at it.
Like so.
And in his head, he's just like, I cannot handle her. There's none of this matches. At first, he tells her, no, we're not. I can't, like, you're just too much for me. I can't handle it. So she leaves, and him and Mont, they go out somewhere, I don't remember, and she hits him with her car. Pretty badly.
Like him personally or his car?
Hits Jacob. Jacob's body.
Oh, no.
And because he gets hit by the car, she needs to help. Mont's just like, well, you've been hit by a car and you can't move.
Oh, right. And so they're like, we actually really need something.
Yeah, and he's like, ugh, fine. At first he just dislikes her. I mean, pretty strongly, but it's only because she makes him uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Because she just is like, represents everything that his brain just cannot comprehend. They start having like the sweet encounters and that Talia Hibbert writes so well.
Yes.
And then they start having the sexy encounters that Talia Hibbert also writes so well.
Or up the skirt.
Yep.
Down the pants.
Down the pants, up the skirt. Up the everything, really.
Can't do the button.
Yes, as with Talia Hibbert's books, the diversity in her characters is so great. We have Jacob, who is autistic, Eve, who is a plus-size black woman, and we know her sisters. Danny is bisexual. Chloe has an autoimmune disease. So, yeah, she does a great job of making sure everybody is represented in a way. Chloe was my favorite, so Chloe and Red.
She was also your first.
Yes, she was.
So this month, I read The Lost Apothecary, which is also the book club pick that we are doing for May, and Sarah Penner will be joining us virtually as well. The Lost Apothecary it's half historical fiction, half like contemporary fiction. Half of the narrative is told in the past, in the late 18th century, 1790s, and then the other half is told in present day. So the novel opens and you meet Nella, who operates an apothecary in a back alley in London. And Nella inherited the apothecary from her mother, who died kind of an untimely, very quick death. So her mother was a very well-respected apothecary in the city, and like specifically tended to women's needs, women's ailments. After her mother died, she was completely despondent, and then there was something happened with a man that made her very distrustful of men. She basically is like, you know what, I have all this knowledge as an apothecary. I have this space. I don't really want to go on in my mother's tradition. I would rather help women kill men. And like help
Revenge!
Help women, but she makes most of her money by helping women get revenge in a way that can't be traced. She has a ledger where it's very clever how she writes it. You know, they'll send their servants to go get the thing, and they'll say, this will be like so-and-so in care of so-and-so for the sake of so-and-so. So it's like courier, buyer, victim.
Yeah.
It's so, I was just like, that is so smart. It's not, it's totally not clear that this is a murder book.
That's not what Cooking the Books means.
It's not.
Yes.
But like, we can extrapolate. It's fine.
I mean, yeah.
It's fine. Tax evasion, murder.
And tomato.
Don't do either of those things.
We don't.
We don't. Okay.
Murder is serious. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And bad and wrong. Because also love is serious. You should do that.
Love often leads to
Doesn't matter. True, does.
We've totally lost. Sorry, Christen.
Anyways, that's Nella, and we meet Eliza. Eliza is a 13-year-old girl who is the house servant of one of these women who has come to Nella for help. But she wants Nella's help in assassinating her husband's lover. And she's just like enamored with everything Nella is about. Because Eliza is from the countryside. She's just like, I want to make my own way. So anyways, flash forward to the present day. Caroline sees a text message pop up on her husband's phone. Just in the bathroom. Like, she's not snooping.
Right.
It just pops up. She confronts her husband after seeing this text message. It's basically it just was very evident that this man was cheating on her. Like, when they got married, she feels at this point in time that she diverted courses in favor of getting married. So she wanted to be a historian. She wanted to go to Cambridge for her master's in history, and he was like, that's not really the logical, responsible thing to do. So she finds out that he's cheating, and she's just like, you know what? I'm going to London. She goes to London, and she goes on a mudlarking expedition. You can go and you can find real historical treasures.
Yeah.
And so you can go mudlarking on the banks of the River Thames. She finds a vial that has a weird etching on it. And the etching looks like a bear. And so the apothecary that Nella runs, she marks her bottles using a bear with no other writing on it. And so she is alone in London, heartbroken, furious, and also she thinks she might be pregnant.
Oh no.
They've been trying for a baby for forever. So she's in a weird space. So she finds this bottle and she's like, I'm gonna find out what this means, and I'm gonna hunt down the true meaning of this singular bottle.
She needs a project.
She needs a project, exactly. And she finds it. She finds a project.
Oh gosh.
And she goes on a journey, and then you're going back and forth in time. Wild things happen.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so I read Libertie for March. So this is loosely based on the real story of the first female black doctor in New York State and her daughter, but it is fictionalized. I got to listen to Kaitlyn Greenidge talk about the book a little bit, and the reasons she wanted to write about this woman in specific was she wanted to write a book about Reconstruction time, because it doesn't get covered in history a lot, especially in the United States, in high school and stuff. So she wanted to write about this time period specifically, and then she was really compelled by this specific woman's story. So the daughter's name is Libertie. It's her and her mom growing up. Her dad died, and her mom raises her to be an apprentice, basically. She sends her to college, wanting her to get a medical degree, come back and be a doctor, and kind of take over the business, right? As she grows up, at first she idolizes her mother because she's doing this amazing thing. As she gets older, though, her mom starts to treat white women and is really subservient to them. And her mom is really light skinned, and Libertie is really dark. And the women she's in there kind of apprenticing with her mom, and they noticeably punch away from her or don't want Libertie to touch them and things like that. And so she's like, why are you catering to these people? She doesn't like the way her mother is dealing with this. Her mother, I think, on the other hand, has these really specific goals for Libertie, and is sort of the mindset of like, I'm doing all these things for like a very specific goal, and like this is the world we live in, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's that like mother-daughter relationship, and then Libertie does go away to school and is like the only woman in like the science classes and stuff, and she doesn't like it, and she's also not good at it, or maybe she's not good at it because she doesn't like it. She gets kicked out of college because her grades are so bad, and but at the same time she's like contemplating like why she's there, and like there's still this dichotomy between men and women at this college. It's like it's an all black college, but there's still like a very specific line between men and women, and like what women are meant for and stuff, and like what men should do. Yeah, like so there's that, you know, theme running through the whole book. And then she goes back home, and before she's like how the F am I gonna tell my mom that I like got kicked out? And also the whole time she's been at school, her mom has had this new apprentice. He's from Haiti. He ends up being really into her. Libertie.
Okay.
He's wooing her for sure, and like he's really attractive, and she's never felt, I think, attractive because of her skin color and the way people treat her. So they actually end up getting married. I don't think she would say she was like in love with him when they get married. And her mother gets very angry at her when she finds out they're getting married.
Really?
Maybe there.
She's angry because she's like, you're throwing away your life to marry this
That
man.
makes more sense.
They get married. They go to Haiti to live. On the boat over, they actually have like a really nice moment where you're like, wow, I mean, this is kind of, it's sort of like she falls in love with him. It's a little bit like, also they have sex and it's good.
Yeah.
So it's
that helps.
But yeah, they get to Haiti, and it is like, it is not what she's like trying to be who he wants her to be, and she's trying to like love his country as much as he loves it, because he really does. He feels like it is a great new start, like a great hope. She gets there, and it's like his sister is weird and doesn't like her, and his dad won't even talk to her directly. Like he only like talks to his son. Meanwhile, like the whole time she's there, she's still been, you know, feuding with her. Her mother's still angry with her, and in the end, it's like, where do you turn when you have nowhere else to? And like, will that person still be there for you, kind of thing. It was really good. I thought there were so many parts of it that were so fascinating, from like historical perspective, and you guys know I love romance stuff. I loved that, like the scene where like their honeymoon basically on that boat was really like, I was like, I'm in this. So like, there's that, and there's misogyny and misogynoir, and there's colorism, and there's those like philosophies that were floating around in Reconstruction era United States that we don't hear about enough. I think it was just really fascinating, really good piece of historical fiction with a lot of character-driven narrative.
Well, what a time it's been.
We've journeyed across centuries. A lot of romance, really, but not the tip. Maybe from romance to
The opposite.
the opposite.
Yeah. And such different, complex women across our
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't even
Break
plan
for
on that.
Women's Awareness Month.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
job,
Yeah, oh my
team.
god, yeah! We didn't even... We just do it.
We're kismet. Ourselves.
It happens naturally for us.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Remember, if you need any pointers on books, murder, or tax evasion, we are your girls. Women.
I hate it.
Yeah. Oh God.
I feel like for legal reasons I need to say that's a joke. Oh God. Okay, well, have a good night.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.